My name is Jim Getting. I'm a construction safety consultant for Michigan OSHA. Let's talk about confined spaces. There's two types of confined spaces. Just an ordinary confined space and a permit required confined space. And the rules say the first thing you need to do is determine if you have a confined space. Remember, confined space has three things. It has to be large enough to be bodily entered. You can get into it. It has to have restricted entry or exit. And the third thing is it has to be a space that's not designed for continuous human occupancy. I like to think of that as there's no lights in there, there's no ventilation in there for you. It's not somewhere you'd want to stop and take your lunch. If you were working in there, you would come out for lunch or break time, right? So think about those things. If it has those three things, then it's a confined space. Second thing you need to do is determine whether it's permit required or not. Here's another good example of something that would be a confined space. It's just the elevator pit, but it's not designed for continuous human occupancy. It's not, it has restricted access and exit. You'd have to get in there with a ladder, and you can bodily enter it. But if we look at this, do we need to go any further? And that's what we say with a permit required. Is there an additional hazard to this? Is there a physical hazard, or is there a hazardous atmosphere? That means something bad to breathe or that would be absorbed into your skin and hurt you in some way. We look at this elevator shaft, and any reasonable person would say, no, we don't reasonably expect any hazardous atmosphere in there. There's plenty of fresh air blowing around here, and there's no physical hazard in there really. If it was full of water, we'd have a physical hazard. Okay? So since it is non-permit confined space, all we have to do is notify people that it's there, and we're done. You don't have to take any additional precautions to go in there. Now, if it is permit required, we have a whole bunch of rules and a whole bunch of steps we have to take to make sure that we're safe when we go in there. You cannot access that without a permit that's gone through, which is basically a plan on how to access that safely. And you need specific training on there, and you need to use a gas detector and a whole bunch of things. But most spaces are not permit. We just have to identify them, and we have to notify people that they exist on the job site. And then we're done.